Hey guys, Joel's here with another reasoning session, and today we're going to be talking about the highest seat of authority in the universe.
Come now and let us reason together. Come now, we can talk it over.
So today I'm going to be talking about who we actually are capable of being and commanding any force in the universe, and that includes all etheric forces, anything you can imagine, guys. We literally have the right to be on par with Source, but in order to get there, you have to tap in and actually acknowledge the living Logos. You can't do it without it, because the living Logos literally is on par with Source, but as Source, acting in this, not just this realm, but acting as a creative force in all dimensions. But I'm going to be breaking it down from the perspective of Paul as he writes to the saints at Ephesus. And there's a lot when you're reading the writings of Paul. Literally every clause is, you can expound on it. You can have like a whole series on each individual clause, really. It's really a whole lot of heavy in here. But I'm just going to do my best and break it down as simple as I can for you guys so we can understand how we can manifest as physical beings in this physical world with the power that Source does non-physically through pure awareness. So in the 19th verse of the first chapter it says, "And what is the exceeding greatness of his power," that's Source, "to usward who believe," or towards us who believe. Believe what? In the living Logos. We have to acknowledge that power before it can actually start to work from within us into the physical world, according to the working of his mighty power. Exactly that. The living Logos is what is manifesting this power into the world. It's not our own egos. It's that Source energy that literally transcends any kind of human power. And that is what's being manifest into the world as we tap into that, which he wrought in Christ when he raised him from the dead. Now, this same energy is that which raised the literal Christ from the dead. But the Logos existed way before a historical Jesus. And that is what is embodied in the story of the historical Jesus. But we mustn't limit it to that historical understanding, because the power that's embodied in that story far transcends any kind of physical humanity. So far, in fact, that we're talking resurrection power, life from the very dead, and set him at his own right hand in the heavenly places. So once this physical story had all played out, this energy literally ascended to the very heights of the universe, and actually to be at Source's right hand. Like, Source is the balance, Source is the middle, but you have left and right represents action. All traditions have some semblance of this idea. Like, even in the Kabbalah, you have the two pillars of the tree of life, the pillar of severity and the pillar of mercy. And then you have, you know, in India with the Kundalini, you have the Ida and the Pingala. Or in Chinese traditionalism, you have yin and yang, right? There's always this feminine, masculine polarity, and at the right side is the action. And so this action represented not above Source, not right under Source, not a few steps under Source, literally at the same level. And at Source's right hand means that Source is acting, because Source doesn't act, Source just knows. But this force, the risen Christ, is actually the power that acts and manifests the living Logos into the world. That's the living Logos. The information that is in the quantum source field that literally makes up the quantum source field. And that information is projected as different levels of physical reality, different dimensions, different manifestations. That is the underlying code, the blueprint of creation. And this place is, as he continues, far above all principality and power and might and dominion. That's talking about all entities, seen and unseen. And it even goes on to clarify, not only in this world, and that word world literally is the word aeon, which means age, but also in that which is to come. And we're moving into a new era, a new aeon, because what used to be What used to go on just regular day-to-day is no longer capable of carrying on in the new era. It's literally being exposed in the light that's now being shone. Literally, like, the Kali Yuga is over and we're moving into an era of truth. But it's a process, and through this process, it takes time. Literally, this started in 2012, but it's accelerating, and as it's accelerating, it's like the sun first rising on the horizon. You know, it's not noon right away, but that twilight first starts to fade in, and then you start to hear the birds singing, and then the air slowly gets warmer as the fog lifts, and then you start to see, you know, the clouds blow away, and then the light and the heat of the day really comes in. And it's still a process to get to that high noon. But that's what we're seeing right now. We're starting to see the dawning of a new aeon. And even in this aeon, we're talking the power that manifests reality. It's just becoming more clear to more of us. And we're starting to step in and tap into that more and more. But continuing on, and has put all things under his feet. Well, if you're at the pinnacle of the universe, literally all things are under your feet, right? And gave him to be the head over all things to the church, or the ecclesia. Ecclesia literally means the assembly. The assembly of who? Those of us that believe or that accept this power of the living logos in us to manifest through us. And in doing so, we actually put aside our own ego and step into a broader, higher perspective. But us, being part of that group, are actually, as it continues, which is his body, the fullness of him that fills all in all. So once you get this in you and you're manifesting from this state of being, that's literally the thinking process. As it says, the head and you being the body are literally the physical beings that are bringing to pass this mindset into the physical world. The body is what acts, right? The head is what thinks. But we are literally the body here. And last time I checked, those feet under which all powers and principalities are placed, those feet are part of the body. And that means that if we accept this living logos as master, then all those principalities, all those energies, all those demonic forces are literally under our feet, and we don't even have to fight it because the battle's already been won. And no matter how far you think you are from that perfection with source, because even me, like, you know, you try to do good, you try to clean up your own life, you try to clean up your own body, but there's still such a contrast with that absolute pure awareness that sees the end from the beginning, that knows all things fulfilled no matter what the circumstance. There's no doubt, there's no question in source's thoughts, but we as egos, we can't help but be ruled and see things through our physical perspective. But even then it goes on to say, and you has he quickened who were dead in trespasses and sins. And that just means, you know, missing the mark. When you fall short of the goals you have in awareness and you make mistakes due to the physical circumstances. It doesn't mean like, you know, you're a murderer or something. I mean, that's far down the line, yes. But it just means like, hey, I messed up in my thoughts. I messed up in my manifestability. I messed up in these goals that I thought I had, but that didn't really work out for me. So skipping down a few verses, it says, even when we were dead in sins, has quickened us together with Christ. You know, it's not your own works that do this. It says, by grace you are saved. But yet, he's raised us up together and made us sit together in heavenly places in Christ Jesus. So that energy, once you accept it, that's the key here, guys. You got to accept this energy and ask it personally, because it's a personal force. You just ask, hey, living logos, source, Christ, make yourself real to me and show me what it is that you have in store for me. Because, guys, the sky's not even the limit. We're talking about the absolute apex of the universe. What's blossomed in my life, guys, I haven't even scratched the surface, and I'm just accelerating more and more every day. Every day. And I want the same for you as we move into this new era. We are really birthing a utopia if we tap into this very energy. The religious institutions have sat on it. They've kept it hidden. They've monopolized people, and, you know, generations have come and gone in this last dark age. But now, if we tap into it on a personal level, they can't survive. The same way the media and the governments and all these other institutions are just falling away in the light of exposure, so too will the religious institutions. And they'll fall away as we as individuals reclaim our sovereignty, step up to that absolute pinnacle of universal control, universal manifestation power, and literally create the world we always knew we were deserving of all along. So I love you guys. Ask the living Logos to make himself real to you. We all deserve this level of fulfillment. I'll check you guys in the next reasoning sesh. Joel signing out once again. Agape, Salaam, Namaste.